as time flies by, you'll open up your eyes wide. You feel it's gonna go your way. Hey, hey, it's a brand new day. Hey, 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 it's a brand new day.
I don't think there is anyone more behind the scenes than our consuls. They get to know the worst of us, the best of us, but they are always there for us. And we're joined right now with a lovely consul for Denmark, who happens to be Spanish, which I think is just so cute, Marisa Moreno, and of course Charmaine Arbouin, who is our British consul. And we've been talking about so many interesting things. Tourism, Brexit, what happens if you die when you're abroad, but a big issue that affects everybody, doesn't matter the nationality, and something actually that came up at the United Nationalities of Marbella Summit with Marisa and Charmaine is the commonality of, unfortunately, finding elderly members of the community dead behind closed doors. And it sounds horrible, but so... Yes, it happens. Marisa, Charmaine, thank you for, again, taking the time. Marisa, let's start with you, because when I was telling you about the website the British Consul had done to help communicate elder generations, you said, oh my gosh, we have that. We have dead Danes behind closed doors.
That's it.
What is the situations that bring people to be alone and find that they can, say, pass away and no one even know?
Yeah. Well, the point is, at least with the Danish colony, is that they settle on the coast maybe in the 70s, and now they are old. All of them, they're old, and mostly their children, that now are adult, of course, they're moving back to Denmark. That means that they live alone. Maybe the children or the family come only for summer, or maybe for Christmas time, or something like that. But some of them even has no family anymore, because they have no children, because they never get married, or even they were widows or whatever, you know. And it's true that little by little we are finding some more cases that people has died by their own, and maybe it's only the neighbors that start to be worried, and because they don't see them, or they have bad smell on the staircase, and horrible experience, you know. I can imagine it's the same.
That must have been, sorry to interrupt myself, but that must have been a similar situation that got you, Charmaine, with the British Consul and the embassy to actually create a website, because there are people to help, but how do we even find out about them?
Yeah, I mean, it is fascinating, because there are, as you say, there are the Brits. One of the lovely things about the Brits is wherever they go, they set up their voluntary organisations. I don't know if it's the same with the Danes. Yeah.
Not so far.
Yeah.
Not so far.
But there are. I mean, you'll know there are loads of clubs and you know and sort of lunch groups and social groups and Rotary clubs and all sorts of things up and down the coast. But unfortunately, quite often people, when they need them, they don't necessarily know that they exist. And the description that Marisa was giving is exactly the same with the Brits. Lots of people that did early retired, they probably retire at 55, they've taken early retirement, they've always wanted to live in the sun. You know, we've been to Spain lots of times, it's very accessible, we know we can live there, and they come out and they settle, and quite often they'll buy a big property. I don't know if it's the same with you. They'll buy a big property, quite often remote, because as you know, the UK is an island, there's no space. So if you can go anywhere where you can get acres and acres, you go and you want to buy those acres and acres, and you don't think about how remote it is.
Yeah, also if you've got kids, they grow up and maybe, as Marisa said, then they go away, and even if they haven't left you as such, if they're just away, you find yourself alone.
And in 20 years' time, you don't want to be in that position. And so a lot of people bought properties whenever property here was a lot cheaper than it was in the UK. And now, of course, after the crisis, the properties are not the kinds of prices that people think that they should be able to command. Nobody wants to sell their lovely finca because it should be worth $500,000 and actually it's only worth 200,000, and you actually like living there. So we have loads of people who are incredibly isolated. All that we did is we sort of said, look, there is all this information out there along the Costa del Sol of all of these groups. Wouldn't it be great if we could put it into one place so that people could use it and find out where they can get support from, where there's an aged care, where there's an age concern, where there's a Cudeca or a day centre or somebody that could help me with my shopping, or someone that I can speak to, whatever. And basically we managed to get funding from the UK government, from the University of Birmingham.
Well done.
Some other, I know.
Yeah, quite amazing.
From some other institutions. And actually we'd be really happy to talk to you about how we did it. And the thing that I really love about the website that we've done is that it's really accessible. It's very simple. So you can go in and you can look for something like, my issue is finance, and you can put finance and it will tell you what there is available. But you can also look by where you live. If you live in Nerja, you don't want to know what's available in Estepona, yeah? So you can look by your area. It's in Spanish and it's in English. So I can go into it, but also if my doctor was looking for something, he could go into it and he would find the information in Spanish. So
that's, I think, the important thing is because we have these infrastructures. You say it seems to be more British-minded than, say, the Danish creating these little groups. But if the doctors, hospitals don't know about it, then they can't send them. Marisa, you're a consul, and I know that one of the things that's always difficult is how to inform people. How can we be more connected with the consuls? How can we get this networking going?
Well, we have a big change after maybe after 15 years ago, more or less, because you have not obligation to register on the consulate. That means that we have not access to all the colony is living here.
That's what we were talking about before.
Yeah, and even the town halls are the same problem, because mostly of them are not empadronados here. Then it's a double problem. But it's true, social media is very important in that case. I'm sure that social media, because even if these elderly people has no access to the social media or whatever, the neighbors, the friends, the family, is a way to inform. Have you seen that there is a website or where you can go or whatever? I know that, for instance, Mijas Town Hall, they have a very good volunteers group that they accompany the people to the doctors, to do the shopping and all these things, but nobody knows. Nobody knows. Again. So it's wonderful, this idea. And when Charmaine told me, I said, okay, we want to be part of that, because it's true. We have the same situation, and it's funny because for the Latin people, for the Spanish people, to live isolated is quite rare. It's quite weird.
Yeah.
But no, for the Scandinavian and for the English, for the Brits, they love to live in the middle of the nature.
Nowhere.
Well, that's it. I don't want to say nowhere, but
but nowhere.
Nowhere, And even for us as a Spanish, when we say, we are scared to live there. If something happen, if something happen, how can I drive? How can but they like it's their way of life, and they love that. But they don't think that your life is changing, and when your life is changing because of your age, you have to change the circumstance where you live. You have to be closer to the health center, closer to even for the town hall. If you need, I don't know, any kind of help to clean your house, to take care of you, my nice, something like that. That is servicios sociales. That of course doesn't work maybe so good as in Denmark or that in Britain, but that's work. And if you don't use it, we lose it.
Free taxi 4 times a month and 25% discount on your car insurance if you're the zero hero.
Yeah, I'm here in Marbella, but it says here I'm in La Canada.
If you haven't mastered the lingo, don't worry. Linea Directa has a free GPS geolocator service that will come and find you.
Now, you would think that Linea Directa is doing enough for the road safety here in Marbella and in Costa del Sol, but really there's never enough that you can do for road safety. It's such an important thing. So it has the Zero Hero program, offering free soft drinks to participating bars and restaurants, to all designated drivers out there. It has the free breathalyzers that it offers for the Línea Directa customers to keep safe and make sure that you're not driving while you're heavily under influence. And the third thing that they're offering is free taxis. That's right. So for all expats and who have a NIA, so make sure to register to get your NIA number. All expats get four free taxis each month. So when they go out and have a couple of drinks, you can get home safely and securely. So that's 4 free taxis per month, completely paid by Línea Directa if you're with them. And this next part is going to be for the Spanish people. Así que todos los que tengan 26 años o menos y que estén parte con Línea Directa también pueden recibir 4 taxis gratis, y también ofrecen conducir tu moto o tu coche si necesitas también estar llevado a casa. Así que con Línea Directa, si tienes menos de 26 años o 26 años y necesitas ir a casa otra vez después de beber un poco demasiado, te llevan Línea Directa gratuitamente 4 veces al mes. Muchas gracias.
I think it's important what you're both saying is this communication, the sense of the British government has made the expense, but the same thing for you, even though you're the consuls. Getting information to people really does rely on the public passing the word on, looking out for your neighbour, keeping an eye, and all of us informing the different hospitals and things. This website is supportinspain.info.
Yeah.
Which is lovely because, as you say, it's very well guided in the different areas of interest and of the localities. But also it's very important that we give you feedback, to update information if you know of information that's not on the website, and to somehow get the different international communities that don't speak Spanish. For example, it's in Spanish as well, but the English ones who communicate in that language also to be a part. With we were talking before about Brexit. Sorry a second, Marisa. We were talking about with Brexit, something that we didn't get to talk was pensions, Charmaine, with this upcoming Brexit. And I don't know if it's the same for the Danish that come here, settle, get their pensions and everything sent over so easily. What's going to happen with that, do you think?
Well, it's good news because I know that lots of people were really concerned. I don't know whether you're aware of this, but when you leave the UK, what happens is it depends on where you go to live. So if you go to live in the Caribbean, for instance, your pension is frozen at the amount that you are receiving on the day that you stop living in the UK. So you continue to receive your pension, but if your pension was £50 a week, 10 years, 20 years later, you're still only going to be getting £50 a week. But because of EU legislation, it was forbidden for the British government to do that to any British people that were coming to live in the European Union. You're entitled to the same thing as you would be if you were in the UK. So all of the pensioners in Spain continue to get their pensions uprated, increased in line with inflation. So instead of the 50, you might be getting 60 or 65 or 70, and it would continue to go up. That was a really important thing in people's financial planning, knowing that that money would keep going up with the rate of inflation. And lots of people were really concerned that after Brexit, because we would no longer be bound by EU rules, that the government would see this as an opportunity to save money and was saying, no, it's frozen now, yeah? You're like everybody else. The government, fortunately, agreed that it would continue to uprate the pensions. So anybody who is a pensioner, a UK pensioner, now in receipt of their pension, who is legally resident here,
Again,
who is legally resident here, will continue to have that uprated. And the great news is, even for us youngsters that aren't pensioners yet, if we're legally resident now, when we come to retire, we will also get that.
I was going to ask that because I'm English, but I've lived here. I didn't get the right to vote because I've been out of the country for 15 years. But coming to my pension, that wouldn't make a difference?
Doesn't make a difference at all. If you are legally resident here at the date of us leaving, even if you've got 10 years to retirement, it's the same promise.
Oh, that's nice.
Yes, that's good.
Do you have a lot of people from Denmark that also receive their pensions here and they really just have made their lives here?
Yeah, many of them. And you know, well, the good things for the Danish people is that they have a very good standard of in their pension. The normal rate or the normal pension in Denmark is around 3,000 euros
Wow. A month?
a month.
Wow.
Well,
Let's all go be
Can we go
Danish.
Right, I'd like to go work there a while. Let's go and register on the Danish.
wow, that's it.
Does that make you jealous as a Spaniard?
Yeah, yeah.
And the Brits are jealous of the Spaniards.
But it is. I mean, how can you not be jealous of the Spaniards? And I don't think they really appreciate how good they have it. I don't think they do, but they really do. Working 11 months a year, being paid for 14, and it's like. But there again, we all have. There's always yin and yang with everything, and I think we are blessed to be living here. We obviously live here because we want to. Well, you're Spanish, so I mean, that's your right. But for us, Charmaine, I mean, it's a blessing to be welcomed to a foreign country, but it's important that we play by the rules, and actually is in our interest. Charmaine, a quick summary. We're finishing for the week. It's been fascinating, but a quick summary. What would you say to our Brits?
Don't worry too much about Brexit. Make sure that you're legal. So that's residencia, which is with extranjería. Make sure you're empadronado. Make sure that you've registered to vote. If you've got people coming, get them to look after their passports. Make sure that they've got their travel insurance. It's not the nice time of year to be thinking about it, but plan for the future. So think about what's going to happen after you leave this mortal coil. You know, don't leave it for your loved ones. But more than anything, have a lovely summer.
Lovely message. And Marisa, it's been lovely to see you. Thank you for taking the time. Marbella Now Legal Beagle as well, but also first and foremost, the Danish Consul. Well, that's it for this week's Marbella Now. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Marisa. Thank you, Charmaine.
Thank you.
And thank you, Marbella. Take care of yourselves. Be nice to each other. And we'll be back next week. If you want to watch recordings of our show, go to our website, marbellanowtv.com. It's lovely to have you with us. Hasta luego.